Mukilteo. Actually, yeah, I'm heading up towards Mukilteo right now. I'm just gonna drive out to the ferry dock,
Oh,
maybe.
nice. That'd be a
Yeah,
nice view.
and it's absolutely raining. Crappy day. Erin's tanked. She's taking a nap, and I just get out of the house, and I saw the lunacy on the timeline, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna have a space. I'm gonna unblock Peg and see if she wants to come in and talk with me." And then RP showed up, and I don't think that was the conversation that needed to be had right then and there.
She's so, Peg is so desperate to grab that mic and just, go on a little filibuster and just blah 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 blah. There's no beginning, there's no ending, and there's no resolution at all.
I was gonna let her do it. I wanted to do it, time it, just like let her speak her piece. Be like, all right, Peg, I'm gonna let you speak. I'm gonna let you speak. You've been saying stuff for like a fucking year and a half, nonstop. Not, hey, were you just trying to call her?
I
So
did. I
anyway,
snorted. Shit, sorry.
yeah. So yeah, man. I don't know. She's out on the timeline now, like trying to act like I don't know. It's weird watching them try to spin the Sean Burke address phishing into something else.
Yeah,
I,
that's weird. Why, if all these people are harassing you, why would you send them money? Was that to cover your ass and say, "Oh, I sent them my address, so how can I be
there's nothing there.
doxxed?"
No, there's nothing there. What it is that if you don't have your settings properly set up, somebody can donate to your Ko-fi, and if they do it via PayPal, like they can get your
Right?
address. That's how it works, right? So this is what this kid did: is he went around to all these people that he's been stalking and harassing and talking shit about, and he went into their Ko-fis and donated them all $5 to try and get the information. But he forgot to change his settings, and he gave his address out. Okay, maybe it's brain fog or whatever. And his address is safe. I got it from him. Other people got it, right? It's safe. No one's going to dox him or give that out. I'm not. But, like, you know, come on, man. Come on, dude. Like, what the fuck are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? What the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then for these cats on the timeline, people like Peg or whatever, to come out and be like, try and justify it, rationally twist it. So shut the fuck up, man.
Right?
Like, this is what happened. Like, come on, dude. What kind of fucking fantasy cartoon goddamn world do you live in where, oh, yeah, he's just trying to be cool to you guys? Get the fuck out here. Take your drool somewhere else.
I was like, as though I was hearted over Gwen and her blocking us and blaming us for, ruining crowdfunding and not being trustworthy to donate to and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, Gwen, really?
Wait. What happened? What happened?
Gwen,
She called me ableist and stuff a while. I never had a problem with her.
exactly.
But I told her, I said, Gwen, I'm going to have to block you because I can't do this. And then
She
I
went through
just
and she
haven't heard
blocked
from her ever since. So.
Right, she blocked everybody who Sean sent money for, and she's on Sean's side, and she made a big thing about, you need to have trust in people who send you money and not to share their address. And it's like, Gwen, come on, you should have been on our side, saying, it's not cool doing that.
I just don't understand. I don't understand that person.
Right.
She got attacked by Sue when I left the platform to get away from this shit. I came back and they were just beating on her, with their tweets and shit. And I was just like, wow. And I stuck up for her and everything else. And I don't know I don't understand some of the cats here.
Right.
Man. I don't know where they're coming from, but whatever. Nobody's doing anybody any harm except for Sean Burke. Sean Burke is doing harm.
Yeah, I mean,
Sean Burke sat behind a goddamn blocked account for a year and talked shit about people and recorded spaces and helped to fucking put that shit out on the timeline so people didn't want to talk in spaces anymore, talk about long COVID. That's what Sean Burke did.
Fucked up.
That's what he fucking did. Okay. And then he turned around and he's getting fucking weirder. He unlocks his account, calls me a bunch of fucking names and a coward and shit and everything else. I'm like, hey, you want to talk it out? And instead he goes behind fucking into people's Ko-fis to try to get their addresses. I mean, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, it's
come on.
And then having Peg spin that, how can you spin that, Peg? Answer the question. Why is that okay? And they're saying, oh, there's no way you can get the email. These guys are just making that shit up, and there's no way you can get their address by donating and blah 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 blah.
A goddamn video out on the timeline in real time from my desktop, and I will navigate the clicks, and it will show you the fucking whole thing. It's not. I've never once bluffed on this platform. Not a single fucking time.
Right?
Or I've never acted. I've never hid behind like fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck those people. They're just weirdos on Twitter, dude. They need to stop.
Yeah.
They need to stop. Anyway, I don't know what Sean plans to do with people's addresses. I don't think he got them because I checked my security settings, and it doesn't matter anyways. I live in a fucking. I've said this before. I live in a stand your ground state, and I'm fucking cocked and loaded, man.
Right.
Like, I the last thing I'll end up doing is deleting. Once my full timeline's deleted, is put a video with me and some fucking guns, and I'll leave it pinned to my fucking account. That's it. That's what you get. You want to come and fucking visit me? What are you gonna do, dude? What are you gonna do? Like, what is your fucking point? And then his girlfriend's on the timeline, and she's like Smokey McBongwater or whatever.
Right.
And she's like, oh, we're gonna need to hire a lawyer and this and that. It's like, for what? Nobody's doing anything. Your boyfriend went fishing for our addresses after fucking stalking us and harassing behind a blocked account. Some of us went to the goddamn
Yeah.
police. No crimes committed. Nobody's taking it any further. Where would you ever need to get a lawyer? Where would a lawyer even come into play here? And where have you been wronged?
And hell, we're all too fucking sick to travel cross country.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Jeez. This entire scene has just turned into, this portion of it anyway, is just a goddamn cartoon movie now.
Yeah. Yes. And some people left this platform to, because they tired of Elon. They just want to go to blue sky and all that. And so we're being blamed for those people leaving now. And it's just like, what the hell? Did you not see them say their goodbyes and say, I'm off this platform, and it had nothing to do with us? And so it's dwindled down so small that there's really nothing here anymore. And they just want to keep beating that drum and make sure we don't get organized, make sure that we don't talk, make sure that we don't get something out of this. And I just find that so fucking weird. And it's just, why don't they come up and talk? Peg's sitting there listening right now. Why doesn't she come up and talk? Come on up and talk, Peg. Come up and talk.
Peg can talk in my space as long as Peg's not drunk.
Yeah.
As long as Peg's not drunk, she can talk. OQ too.
Oh, absolutely.
OQ can too. I haven't had a good word puzzle today. I would love to hear OQ speak. I have not fucking had my share of like Sudoku wordplay or whatever the hell it is. I don't know, man. These people, they don't even have long COVID. I'm like, who are you guys? Why are you even involved at all? Where did you come from? Why does it matter? What? Shut the fuck up.
And shit, if you're gonna put out a block, at least be creative as Brad.
Dude, that was fun. Hey, Brad. Yeah, I know. I was like cannibalism, because I see it everywhere. I see cannibalism everywhere. As soon as they run out of a fucking enemy, as soon as they run out of like their bad guy, they just start turning on each other. I mean, that's just how it works. And yeah, I saw that. I actually laughed. I actually laughed at that shit. I was kind of. Hey, Dave. Is that Peg?
No, it's not Peg. I hijacked your friend's account, though. It's Sean Burke.
Oh, God.
Aren't you gonna ask me why my voice smells like Mickey Mouse?
Why does it?
Because my balls haven't dropped yet. Fuck you.
Is
You got a problem
Can
with
you
that?
Can you call up your girl and see if she wants to come in the space and yell at me for about a half an hour?
Okay, which one?
I don't know. Pick one, dude.
How about PIG? GLY?
How about this? The hunt for Sue.
Piggy.
What happened? Is Sue off the payroll? Is Sue off the payroll?
I don't know, Sue.
You pretend you don't know anybody. You're just a babe in the woods.
That's right. You got a problem with that too?
I can't say I have a problem.
Hey, Dave, do you and your friends like jokes?
Yeah. What's up?
Why'd the chicken cross the road?
Why?
How the fuck should I know? I'm a mouse, not a chicken. Why
Jesus
did
Christ.
old Q cross the road?
Oh, we don't have enough time for the explanation.
Because his dick was stuck in the chicken.
We're gonna lose everybody. I don't want anybody in here except for Peg. I want Peg to come in here and scream at me for an hour or two.
Sorry about that.
What are you doing? You clear out the space like I'm mad.
Sorry. I couldn't resist because I keep thinking of the lurkers, so I'm like, why not put on a little show? But my throat hurts now.
Yeah, I don't know how you could do that.
I don't know. I was just finishing up the dishes, so I couldn't talk before, but I can talk now. Not that I really have anything interesting to say.
There isn't anything interesting to say. Most of us have been locked in our houses for 5 years. We don't have any fucking stories. Fucking interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about that. I'm like, I'd like to maybe I should start journaling. And it's like, why the fuck should I journal? What do I have to journal about? My fucking feelings? Who the hell wants to hear that? I don't even want to read
Oh,
that.
dude, my biggest social interaction is fucking Twitter. Are you kidding me? What am I gonna put? What am I gonna put on paper that's worth the damn?
Yeah, shit. Sorry, I did clear out your space.
That's okay.
Nobody liked Mickey Schoenberg's jokes.
I have never, ever been on this platform for fucking attention, dude. I do not care. I'm here because I'm bored out of my goddamn mind and I want something done about long COVID. I want my life back. And the strategy of like honesty and I don't know, just like it's out the window. It was never gonna work here.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah. It's pretty gross, dude. I mean, just chronic illness in general, like every angle of it is just fucked. Like patient communities are just ripe with bullshit. Advocacy is just a grift, shit show grift. You know, research is like absurd. It's just absurd. I mean, I think there's some that are doing research on long COVID at this point that I feel like, and I don't know if I just want the hope, but I'm just like, yeah, this is okay. Maybe they're going to get somewhere. But like, I can't think of a lot of angles. I mean, yeah, you're going to form friendships. You're going to meet people, and you could say good things about that. And you could say, well, even the people that I've met like virtually that I don't like, maybe they're good people, and it's just the Twitter or whatever. But like the scene in general is just fucked. It's just fucked, dude. It's like it's so fake too. It's like so fake. And it's like all these things that get perpetuated, like especially virtually on places like X here. It's all like hyperbolic, exaggerating, fucking self-affirming. It's crap, dude. It's crap. And everybody's like, rah, 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 we're getting the word out. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Nobody's done shit for fucking 50 years or 70 or whatever it's been for ME. And nobody's done anything for long COVID, really. 5 years in, like, where are we at, really?
I don't really understand how it ever became about MECFS and PEM. Like, I just remember when I first came into the space, like I had applied to the long COVID clinic, the one of the biggest ones in the country, and I was all excited about it because I'm like, finally, somebody might actually understand this. And I'm talking to the intake nurse, a really nice person, but all the questions were geared toward chronic fatigue syndrome. And I was like, come on, I mean, at the time I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Like, oh, it makes sense. Now I'm thinking about it all over again. Now that I actually know shit, and I'm like, like I pretty much fell for the same shit everybody else did, and it's so bad because the fact that they were doing this intake wise with long COVID clinics means that people are coming in, they don't know what's going on with them other than they were referred by maybe their like primary care physician. And that's what they're telling people. And it's interesting because the only thing I ever knew about long COVID was the Survivor Corps. I don't remember seeing anything in Survivor Corps that, you know, smelled fishy at all regarding like trying to, you know, claim that long COVID was anything other than from COVID. Like I don't remember seeing anything in there about MECFS,
Yeah.
you know, associated chronic conditions. I don't remember any of that. Survivor Corps didn't have any of that stuff. It was just like a resource, you know? And then
Yeah.
once I start getting into like the social media scene for long COVID, that's where it just becomes this mess. And once people
Yeah.
started challenging whatever that was, that narrative that you know
No,
people were
nobody. So,
using,
so,
it became a
so the
problem.
narrative wasn't even that obvious. I mean, it was now looking back since the very beginning, places like the body politic and stuff. But I could tell you why certain people latched onto it and how it all happened. I mean, it all had to do with individual and group interests. But like it, it, you're right. Like there wasn't a real problem until there was this like pushback against it. But what it wasn't the narrative that got sold to people to help chop up the community and stuff wasn't the actual narrative. Like it wasn't like it was all lies, you know. There were no patients attacking patients or questioning illness legitimacy or anything like that. None of that was happening at that point. But they had to do that. They had to create that conflict in order to drive up, you know, all of the all of the problems that came from it. It's just you know, with the PEM thing, all that stuff, I mean, it was obvious what they did. You just, they turned PEM into this branding tool. They turned it into a branding tool. It's like, oh, if you experience PEM, you have MECFS. And people are like, well, what is PEM? Well, you know, it could be all these things. You're like, what? You know, so once you make PEM everything, then everything becomes MECFS. Before you know it, everybody's going, I got long COVID ME. I got, you know, it just, oh, what a mess, dude. What a mess. It's been a mess forever, dude. It's like always a mess. Like people just hop onto social media and they're like, I know all the answers and know how this works. I mean, remember fucking Don Ford? Remember that guy?
Oh yeah.
Dude, he's like, I'm Don Ford and I wrote the book on long COVID. I know more than everybody about long COVID. These doctors and researchers don't know shit because I'm the one who knows what long COVID is and they don't because I'm Don Ford. It was the dumbest fucking thing ever. I mean, and people follow that and listen to that, you know? And I was like, what is this nonsense, you know? And he's like, I got long COVID. And then he's like, I don't have long COVID. Oh, it's just weird, you know? And then just moving on to whatever the next like left wing political agenda thing was, or doing whatever's popular for click. Like, it's just this whole scene's been a mess, dude. That author lady, there was that author lady who's like recovered 19 million fucking times and kept getting the miraculous COVID and everything, all for attention. She's a goddamn fiction writer. And then I called her out, was like, because her science was bad, everything was wrong that she was saying. It was just like, this is just, you're just not the person you think you are. Like, stop it. You're hurting us because people are confused, man. Confusion soup. And she came after me with an alt account and started making up lies. And this was back in the day when you shouldn't do that on Twitter, when it was like people would be appalled that people were, you know, making shit up and trying to get people or whatever. Now it's like people celebrate it because they've all made their minds up. They're like, this person's my enemy or whatever. It's so fucking stupid here. It's so fucking stupid. Like look at guys like Ghostbeard, right? The dude Ghostbeard. I've tried to be so cool to that guy, right? He's a fucking prick. I try to be cool to him. And he couldn't be cool. He had to be like teaming up with Brad and in the Brad spaces and shit. And fucking I go in there like trying to tag team to play Gotcha on Dave. Like I'm a video game and a boss to beat or something. It's so fucking stupid. And then all of a sudden Brad's like fucking Ghostbeard's a loser. You know what I mean? These guys just go completely cannibal. The whole scene is a fucking shit show, bro. It's a shit show. Like at this point, I'm just commentary on that. because I can be, because it's obvious. You got bozos like Peg and OQ running around the timeline, stalkers like fucking Sean Burke trying to get people's addresses. You know, it's fuck, dude. The whole fucking thing. Everybody's worried about who's what, my reputation on social media. Can't be associated with this person. That is all fucking faux outrage and virtue signaling. It's all crap, dude. All of it. Every fucking ounce of it. You want to know how I really feel?
Yeah, why don't you tell me how you really feel?
People know how I really feel, man. I don't care. I don't like it's over as far as I'm concerned. Like the whole long COVID thing on Twitter. I mean, with the exception of, some people, I think the brunch, they do a good job in their Twitter space, right? And some of those people were friends of mine. And like, man, I don't know, man. People have left the platform. They're not coming back. There's people who've gotten better. They're not coming back. There's people who've deteriorated. Say, I can't handle this. They ain't coming on. Folks that have dealt with fucking decline because of the conflict and drama, they don't want nothing to do with it. People who would just turn this into a fucking grift, too. Like, I don't know what this whole, I don't even go there, but yeah, it's just, I know people don't want to fucking hear it, right? They'll be like, oh, Dave's just off base. He's just off base. This is fucking Camelot. Like, nah, no, it's not, friends. No, it's not.
I think Peg has a problem with Mickey Mouse.
I think Peg is a fucking idiot. And I want her to come in here and yell at me for an hour. No, I think she is a goddamn idiot.
She's too busy. She's too busy. Dude, she's too busy. She's posting about it on here, actually.
The dumb bitch is probably recording my fucking space and fucking playing it on her own space and telling everybody how I'm afraid to talk with her. That's how fucking dumb she is.
And she hates Mickey Mouse.
The gloves are so far gone, bro. The gloves, I burned the fucking gloves. I took the gloves off last year. Those gloves have been burned and sacrificed, okay? There's like little bits and burnt pieces of glove now sitting on a fucking shrine in my house. That's where the gloves are, dude.
But come on, it's funny. Peg saying that you're afraid to talk to her. That is the funniest fucking shit I've ever heard in my life. I mean, let's be realistic.
Dale, it's impossible to be afraid, for me to be afraid for Peg to talk to me, because Peg will never, ever, ever talk to me. She will talk at me to no end until my eardrums bleed.
That's the truth.
But we will never actually have a conversation.
Yeah, she's doing it right now.
Of course she is.
Currently,
she's the queen of peeps.
Currently, in the space right after Dave, Dale, and Joe mocked Sean, OQ, and me, Dave started whining. He's not here for attention after promoting his Patreon and posting pictures of his feet. She likes your feet, Dave. Also, demands I
she should check out my only feet.
She loves your feet. I wonder what she thinks of your fingers.
She really gets off reading when you read her post that she's posting about the space. She really goes, "Oh, hello, Peg. How are you doing?" She is here.
Peg, we're gonna allow you to scream at us.
Come on up.
Here's the deal, Peg. Here's the deal. This is going down in the annals of long COVID land. I'm gonna allow you to speak at us. I'm gonna allow you to speak at us, but you're gonna have to refrain from the. Nah, fuck it. I'll just hit the play. Just let you. Here you go, Peg. Go ahead. Let me get you up.
Oh, I thought she was here for a minute.
Yeah, I want her to scream. I want her to scream at us for a while.
Hey, Dave.
You gonna scream?
Why would I scream?
Okay, fair enough. How are you, Peg?
You don't care how I am, Dave.
This is why we can't have a conversation, because I'm.
No, I'm saying we can't have a conversation because everything out of your mouth is disingenuous, dishonest, manipulative, and bullshit. So there's no point. But I thought I'd just come in so then you don't get to tell everyone, oh, she's afraid of me. No, you're afraid of me, you pussy dick little coward.
Oh, come on, let's be nice.
No, fuck you, Dave. I don't have to be nice to you.
Okay. Keep going.
You know? No, I'm fine. I don't need to say anything to you. I've said what I have to say elsewhere. I don't give a fuck.
Like a year.
I'm not your little fucking puppet. I'm not one of your little minions.
You're
you know, you don't like it. You don't like not being able to control a strong woman. I get it because you're a misogynistic fucking dick.
How so?
So whatever, man. Go ahead, do your worst. Why don't you yell at me, Dave? Because that's really what you want to do.
I don't have anything to yell at you. I don't care.
You've been yelling at me for the last, hour? You've been ranting and yelling at me for weeks, for hours at a time in a space.
Type my fucking name into your timeline.
I'm sure you've done it 100 times. I don't need to do it. I know how many times it's there. Like, you act like I'm stupid and don't know anything.
Numbers that big?
I don't know, Dave, do they? You're the expert on everything from metaphysics to UFOs to climate change to long COVID, gambling, cooking, booze. You're an expert on everything. Cat rescue, you're an expert on that.
This is getting
good. You're so ridiculous. You're this autodidactic fool.
What have you brought to the table for people with long COVID, Peg?
I worked as a contact tracer for 2 years. And I've been an activist in COVID activism since then. I don't give a fuck if you don't think I'm bringing anything to the table, because you know what you're bringing to the table? Nothing but division.
I'm bringing you an opportunity.
Lies, gaslighting, bullying. You have cyber-stalked sick people.
Your boy is fishing for addresses and you're defending it.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's because you're playing stupid.
And I don't care.
Sean's
stupid. Not my boy, and if you want to ask Sean questions, ask Sean questions.
I have lots of questions for Sean.
Good for you. Maybe you should try to get in touch with him.
I can't believe it. You're so hilarious. You come in here like you're
I'm so hilarious. Yeah, I'm hilarious.
Go, Peg. Go.
Go ahead and laugh, Dave. It's so funny. You are going off the rails. Everyone sees it.
I'm leaving the platform, lady. I'm leaving the platform. It's what you want.
I know. You deleted all your tweets to escape accountability because you're a piece of shit. You've done it before.
What are you talking about?
You're so predictable. Stop interrupting me. You wanted me to speak. I'm speaking.
Know me.
You are so predictable.
I'm going to mute you.
I know you're going to mute me. You don't want me to speak. So why'd you invite me?
I'm going to mute you and then talk at you and then kick you out and then tell everybody
fuck off.
Howard. I'm going to do that. Please, I honestly just want you to get it all out of your system, lady. You don't even know me, but I want you to get it all out of your system. Oh, she left. Okay. It's perfect.
I think you offended her by muting her.
I didn't mute her.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't.
So wait, what was the point of that?
I don't know, but I kept this on record. I kept my screen record on so that you can see that I didn't mute her out or do anything.
Okay, I wasn't looking at the screen, but that's funny. She said, why don't you ask Sean? I thought we were just talking to Sean.
She said, so she came in.
I thought we were just talking to Sean. We just talked to Sean.
That was a healthy conversation between me and Peg.
It was an even healthier conversation between Sean and you before.
Jeez. Don't do Sean again. So basically what we got from Peg that I'm a whatever, I'm a fucking divisive monster, something or other. And that she doesn't know anything about what Sean's done. And that I'm misogynistic. What else did she, all the bullying, all the stuff. And when I said, well, can you just, it's impossible to have a conversation with her. Type my name into her timeline. Type Dale's name into it. She's just, blah, 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 blah. I love how I baited her into just coming in here and trying to remain calm for a second. And she tried her best. Well, I feel better. This is so dumb. It's so dumb here, isn't it? Like, what do you?
It is dumb. I can't communicate like that. And I can't even stay on very long right now. Right. I was curious whether, I don't know. I think the only reason she came on is because I pushed her. Apparently the Sean really bad Sean Burke impression like really got to her. So I saw the tweet and then your challenge for her to come into the space and she came in. But
she said he's not her boy, so whatever. I don't know. See, I learned sometime back, like I think it was a space with Brad, way back. I don't know, maybe a year ago, past that. Okay. And Brad did some shit. I can't remember if it was Bree or somebody else, but he basically was calling her a bitch. He was just acting like this is back when when calling somebody a misogynistic asshole still meant something. Okay. Just around the time before things got really stupid here. And I got pissed at Brad because of the way he was treating the women in the space, Of course, all the people who hate me are like, you treat women so terrible, blah, 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 blah. It's like, wow, because why? Because you talk over them in a space. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. It's hard on spaces sometimes. And I talk a lot. Leave me alone. Like, whatever. Anyway, Brad and I are going back and forth. And I was like fuming pissed at this guy. Like, I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know this guy, but I'm so mad, right? And he's just sitting there and he's saying and acting in a certain way that like no fucking man would do that to me, to my face. 6'2", 225. Like it's just not something that it doesn't compute in the world that I've been a part of in my reality ever, really. Okay. Except for in bad situations with people who are wasted drunk or whatever. So I'm sitting there and then I said some shit and he said some shit and I realized that there was no way to find resolution if the person just didn't want it. If they wanted the conflict, they don't want resolution. I was like, there's no way. And there's nothing you can do because they're just a circle on your fucking phone. And it was like it was like an epiphany moment for me. And it sucked because I was just like, this sucks because this is not real, Like this, it's just like it's only as real as you can make it. And when people are acting that way, you can't do anything about it. And then I went into, not so long ago, because I like to go in the Lion's Den. I went into a defrizz space and there were people in there like that J Peace guy and shit. J Peace doesn't know me, right? He snapped at me about physics girl in my thread one time, so I blocked him. And he fucking just sat for like, I don't know, a half an hour or 20 minutes calling me a fucking piece of shit, motherfucker, all this stuff. I was just like, damn, dude, you people are fucking nuts. Like, you don't know me. Like, you're creating tropes in your mind over a couple of tweets and then what people are saying about me, And I try, and I'm like trying to be like fucking cool and like, hey, look, like it doesn't need to be this way, whatever. And they're just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm like, you're just angry people. You're just nasty, angry people. So like Peg, perfect example, dude. Perfect example. There's nothing that could be done. It's like, okay, Peg, you want to talk? I don't want to talk with you. Fucking misogynist, fucking monster. It's like, dude, step away from fucking Twitter. Step away. That's what I'm gonna do. You're erasing all your accountability. Accountability for what? Having some opinions on Twitter? For fuck's sake, I think I got about 5,000 tweets left. They're all getting auto-deleted, and it's all like just me sharing my story. Accountability? Get the fuck out of here, you fucking weirdos, man. Do you feel better, Joe? Dale? You guys feel better?
not really.
I can't
I'm
believe
like,
she came in.
I gave that to her. That's called a gimme. There's no, and it's just like I don't care. I wish she could calm down and have a normal conversation, but like you'll never, ever, ever get that out of her because her whole narrative and storyline is that like I'm a monster, my friends are monsters, they do nothing wrong. She's some sort of like justice warrior or something,
well,
like
that was how it all started. It all started from a false narrative. That's something that never ever happened. Like something was said in an LCAP space, and it was blown completely out of proportion. And the person who initially said it, was Jammer, and then Louis jumped on it. You jumped on it. I jumped on it. Josh did, and then a whole bunch of other people did, and they were talking about, oh, it's a good point, and it had to do with two things. One, the fact that men are underrepresented every time somebody's got to testify about long COVID. And two, not just underrepresented, usually unrepresented. And then two, there was the issue with the fact that we were praising one of the Republican senators who actually asked good questions as opposed to just trying to get like claps or trying to get pats on the back or like, you know, like fucking seals. And she had a real issue with that. Like, you know, you all need to like know, you all need to know your place because you just don't understand how bad Republicans are. It's like, who are you coming in here and lecturing a bunch of people who it's our fucking illness? We're the ones being hurt by this, not you. And then from that moment on, it was like, let's just see how many lies we can make up one after the other. Like, I'm just a face on here. I'm not even a face, dude. I'm just an account without like a real name or face.
Yeah.
You know, other than a first name. And like all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's a teacher. Well, he got fired for blah blah blah. First of all, never got fired. Never ever in my life as teacher. But it's she wants to believe that. That's fine. It's that's funny to her, you know. You know, but what's really disrespectful about all that is that, you know, I did lose my job, but I lost my job because I was forced to leave because I got sick. So keep telling me how you care about COVID. You really don't, because you don't care about people who are harmed by COVID, or only people who fit your particular narrative of what people hurt by COVID are supposed to look like. I don't fit your narrative. You don't fit her narrative. Adele doesn't fit her narrative. You know,
Yeah.
and at first it was like LCAP bad, but now none of us really have anything to do with LCAP or really had anything to do with it other than to just show up at the meetings, you know. But now they don't say that, so it's not LCAP bad anymore. It's like it's Dave bad, it's Dave cool, you know.
Oh, I was always
You make
bad
shit up.
from the get-go because I got in early. I was hosting spaces early, and my co-host and me used to say the word bro a lot. I mean, we were doomed from the get-go, like in that respect. There was just, I mean, and I didn't know. I was playing it so dumb because I was just like, I'm just gonna be open and honest, and like these people are all like me. They're all fucking super sick. They all don't care about their differences. They care more about finding a solution to the problem. And I was mistaken. I was very mistaken. Uh, and then the more that I
It's
reflected
hilarious.
and the more the conversations happened, the worse these people fucking got. You know, to the point where it's like, dude, I could I could show you. There are so many fucking people that come to me and have been like, you have helped me so much. You have helped me so much. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable hearing that. I don't feel comfortable hearing that. That's not what I wanted. You know, let's all just, we all need this problem solved, you know? And then these people are like, oh, Dave's a monster. He's just a fucking terrible. It's like, what have I done? What did I do? What the fuck did I ever actually fucking do? What did I do? I hosted some Twitter spaces. Some people had some conversations. I put my opinion out there in fucking tweets. That's it. That is the sum of all of the damage right there, you know? And these people have made up so many fucking lies. I mean, Peg's like, Dave threatened physical harm on me. I'm like, what? What? Meanwhile, the rest of them are going, Dave beats his girlfriend. Dave's sending rape threat. All it's crazy. All of it is fucking insanity. So you come in here and they start talking. They're just like, you're a fucking motherfucking misogynistic piece of shit. This, that, that, that. It's just like, whatever, dude. You know? I told you, the scene's a goddamn joke. It's a goddamn joke.
So Peg has posted again. So I did go into space, and as predicted, he interrupted me repeatedly, and he was a condescending asshole. So of course,
Okay, thanks, Nick.
yeah. So of course now he's revising the story like he won something, and also gaslighting about
Oh,
other
I don't
spaces
think
where
I
people
won.
told him off.
I don't think I won anything. Sorry for interrupting you because I talk like I'm talking to people. I'm not doing the fucking 20-minute, you know, where everybody talks for 20 minutes. Just jump in and cut people out. I don't give a fuck. Like,
Right.
I don't think I won anything. There's nothing to be won there. It was just like, do we feel better? I don't know. I don't think so. There's no having a conversation with somebody like that.
Right. And then her last sentence is, Dave is stupid, arrogant, and a coward bully.
Okay, okay. All right, thanks, Peg. I mean, just go to her timeline and type my name in, dude, and you'll just be like, what the fuck? And you know, I'm deleting everything on my fucking Twitter because I think it's creepy here, especially now that I found out Sean's fishing for my address. My girlfriend is fucking scared, dude. She was traumatized because we were stalked and she got stalked and people were saying they were gonna come and fuck her in the hospital and fuck her in a chair in front of me and tie her up and shit. She got traumatized, and we slept with a goddamn gun next to the bed for like a year and a half because of that. And then when all the shit came out, they started blaming me for this stuff. I told everybody what had happened. I came clean about it, you know? And fucking now, when she found out, she overheard my conversation the day that my friends and I were discovering that all of us were getting fished for our address. She freaked out, dude. My girlfriend's fucking terrified, you know? So why do you think I'm deleting everything on my Twitter and getting the fuck out of here? You think it's because it's because I fucking love my partner. I love my partner, and those people are psychopaths. That's why. I don't care. Some people are gonna be like, "Well, Dave's gone. That sucks." Just like fucking the green guy. Just like the green guy. I'm gonna be gone too. Strong male fucking voice. Honestly, a good person, trying to do the right thing, willing to have conversations with people that think differently, willing to fucking forget about the differences we have with each other in order to fucking find, like, stay focused on the thing that matters. Gone. Why? Because fucking psychopaths want to fucking scare my girlfriend. Fuck that, man. It ain't worth it. Peg can suck a dick. She can suck a dick. Oh, this vulgar. I can't believe David said that. No, that's how real people fucking talk. I was a bartender for 20 years. I don't have to pretend I'm in some weird fucking left-wing, ultra fucking left-wing space anymore.
And look how the bitch talks. She's such a fucking trashy goddamn
That's what I'm
mouth.
saying. That's what I'm saying, man. It's not like I don't get to fucking be vulgar. Go to her timeline, type in asshole, type in Dave, type in Dale. You'll see some disgusting shit.
Right?
It's all like, what are you supposed to do? Sit around and take it like I'm gonna win a fucking prize for being the guy that takes the high road? I took the high road for a long time here, and you know where it got me? It got me places like Mama Sita telling everybody that I was doing something I didn't do, and then creating block lists and shit. Like that's where the high road got me. That shit's I'm to hell with all of them. Peg's a fucking joke. She doesn't even have long COVID. She has no voice in this conversation. All she does is go in with her weird fucking ultra, I don't know what that is, extreme leftist bullshit, and she just wants to fucking argue and take out anger. I don't know. Maybe a fucking guy hurt her. Maybe her dad's a piece of shit. I don't fucking know, man.
And then you have Sean going, well, she protects me. You're a grown-ass man. You don't, this is a patient issue. I don't understand where you need protection. I don't comprehend that. If you need that type of protection, then go to a fucking hospital. But having an outside person come into a patient area, into a patient place and pull this shit. No, this is patient to patient. This is peer to peer. And so Peg's not protecting anybody. She's just fulfilling whatever is in her that needs to be fulfilled. I've lost the word. The savior complex. That's what she's fucking feeling in the void in her life.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got to be something there. I don't know. I mean, so this is real talk. This is not like earlier. I'm kind of fucking around, call her the queen of pigs, all that. Okay, whatever. That's kind of joking around, all right? Because like you just can't take this too seriously. But yeah, Dale, I think there's some kind of pathology there, and there's some kind of weird like overexpression of the savior complex or whatever. And I'm an easy target, right? I'm a white male with a strong voice who has been the voice of opposition to some things that are considered to be, unquestionable. And so, and I believe that they shouldn't be unquestionable because the status quo has led us to where we are. So somebody like Peg is like, I'm a warrior for all of these people because this guy's a monster. And it's kind of sick, because it's been nothing but harmful. Like everything that came from all of that, if you look at the division in the community, okay, the first big divide occurred when Fuck Long COVID put out that bullshit thread, okay? But it wasn't that bad. And then when the moonshot happened, there was a lot of division, but it wasn't that bad yet, okay? A lot of arguments. People felt like people feel like they know each other. They don't, but they felt like they could still kind of communicate and they were arguing. But it was when Peg and Sue and Incendiary came in and they launched that bizarre campaign, and then CETA jumped in and they created that whole thing on the block list. That was the nail in the coffin for the community. That was it. I'm
The
telling you, that's when it
fucking
happened.
block list. That
Right.
goddamn
So
fucking block
this,
list.
this is where the weirdness of like the mutual aid stuff comes in, because people like Gwen, okay, who I never had a problem with until she fucking went after me. She went with what was she considered to be the popular decision. People start making what they believe is popular. It's not about what's right or what's wrong. It's about what's popular, because they can fucking build their audience. They can get more from this. And that is fucking shameful. And I am the fucking guy who says it out loud. People are like, oh, yeah, so look at all his followers and look how he treats. You know, I have fucking done everything I could to lose all these fucking followers. Get the fuck out of here. I have spent so much time doing the unpopular thing in this goddamn space, saying the things that need to be said to people. And I don't give a fuck. The people who are the bullshit artists are the ones who are trying to build their accounts, and they're trying to go with what's popular. They never choose what's right. They never choose what's right. And if Gwen wants to play that game, then so be it. That's just, I don't care. I don't see her anymore. But that's really sad. It's really sad. At the end of the day, we patients do not need to be on mutual aid in perpetuity. That is not the strategy forward with this. That is a broken fucking logic. All that ends up being anyways is the people with the biggest accounts end up making the most money. I can tell you that. That's what happens. These people like Peg, Sue, off the payroll, Sue, and the dirty slime bags that have fucking been to Solve ME advocacy school. Like, these are the people that sowed division, that ended up shrinking the voice, and this ended up hurting the community in ways that affected people's mutual aid. That is where the damage was at. That is where the harm was done. I used to share people like Reds. I used to share her mutual aid all the time. I don't see Red anymore. You know? Gwen, same thing. Like, I couldn't share mutual aid. I realized that I had a little bit more reach with my account at one point. I don't think it mattered now, but I would share those things because I was like, I can get some help to these people. I couldn't do it every single day, all the time. That's not what my account was about. It's about sharing my fucking journey and making noise for long COVID. It's fucking, anyway, whatever, man. The space is just weird. Now it's like this, like, there ain't, do you remember, did any of you guys remember the alternative to our space? The first alternative, Daniel space? Like, they're all gone, dude.
That was a grift, man. If it weren't, then why the hell aren't they still broadcasting? It's not like the problem went away.
No, a
What
bunch of them are
happened?
all to work, dude. A bunch of them are all back to work. Now, I'm repeating what I've been told, but that's what I'm hearing. And that's fine. Good for them. I want to be there, you know? But like, they ripped apart this community with their bullshit. These people, and some fucking pig-faced bitch like Peg gonna come into my space. I knew it was gonna happen. I said, let's just let her yell at me for a while. She's gonna come in here and blame me for a bunch of division. Why? Because I said what? Because I said PEM is not fucking descriptive enough. Oh, that's harming all the patients. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's trying to fucking find a better route for these patients, because their doctors shouldn't just say, you got PEM, go home and pace. Their doctors should be like, we know what's going on in your muscles and in your body right now, and here's the fucking thing that we can do to fix it. That's where they should be. Before Sue and Peg showed up, we didn't have 20 or 30 people in lurk boxes in these spaces. You know that's true. We had spaces that were going on where people, I used to have to figure out who I'd let up and be like, can somebody go down so we can get more people up to speak? And once people like Sean Burke from behind a block started recording the spaces and handing them off to fucking Ink Blue, and people like Cindy Walensky were creating alt accounts and terrorizing patients. Once that shit started and everybody started feeling the burn on the stress that affects their long COVID, that is when fucking things started to die. Those are the people who did this shit, man.
And they don't even have fucking long COVID. None of them.
No.
Except for Sean.
It's never about long COVID for any of these people. For some of the people who did have long COVID or long COVID light or whatever the fuck you want to call it, fleeting versions of the illness, it was never about it either. Don't even get me started with Mamacita. Everything that comes out of that fucking mouth is a lie. She's look at her account. Like the last one, she's like, oh my God, they tell this guy's and something about my mask and my mask and my mask. You go to her other fucking social medias, and she's like eating in restaurants and drinking and karaokeing. And you're like, you can't make this shit up. And then you say something on Twitter and they say, how dare you attack this defenseless woman? And you take her away from her lifeline here on Twitter. It's a fucking clown show, you guys. Like, I've tried to keep it so real here. I've tried to keep it so fucking real. Cuss, use bad grammar, do whatever, accept our differences or whatever. And people couldn't handle it. People like Peg.
I like cussing and bad grammar, because when I was teaching, it's not like I could use that. I couldn't talk like myself. I could talk like myself, but you're talking to kids, so it's different. It's like, why can't you talk like you're talking to a group of people? Because if you're not, then you're just emoting in a weird way on a social media platform, and it never feels real, and it's not like we're getting real interaction anyway.
Dude,
outside of here.
When okay, so like it's so bad. Like, it's been so bad for me. This has been one of the most awkward, terrible fucking times of my life. I kept pushing, man. Like, maybe this will change. Maybe if I just stay genuine and I keep it real with people, like, eventually they'll just recognize that I'm not like the guy that these people are making stuff up about. Like, I really genuinely care about folks, and I just want this to end for everybody, right? But like, no, that ain't gonna happen, right? I mean, I can go into spaces like defrizz, right? For example, go into defrizz space and there'd be a bunch of dudes in there I've barely ever interacted with ever. And they'll be like, you're a fucking dick. You're a fucking dick. And I'm like, well, explain to me why I'm a dick. And they don't really have anything. They don't really have anything at all. And then like defrizz will be like, well, look at that thread that Dr. Sean Mullen put out. Look at all those fucking women that came after you in that thread. I'm like, what, 7 of the loudest fucking hags you've ever fucking met? The people that participated in defamation and lies to help fucking create block lists and stuff? Like, that doxed people got kicked off the platform. They went on a doxing rampage and fucking came back, and now they're just like, fuck all y'all, I'm good. Those fucking people? I'm like, do you even know the history? Do you even know how we got here? And besides, where, except for them flipping the fuck out on me, do you see me fucking doing anything? The entire thing that happened with Sita, by the way, was I called her a bitch one time in a space. I spent the next fucking 6 months apologizing for it. And then they made up a fucking fake story about rape threats. That's what happened. That's what happened. And when I defended myself, Peg and Sue and Incendiary and the rest of them were just like, Dave, El Cap, take them down. God, man. Everybody, jeez. It's so fucking hilarious, man. Best part is, what's up, Joe? You gotta go?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I gotta go. I didn't want to just disappear on you.
Oh, it's all good, dude. I'm just kind of screaming at the mic now, I guess.
No, I'm listening. But I might not be able to in a minute or two. So I just wanted to say
that's okay. I thought Alba was gonna take the mic, but she didn't. Everything kind of went out the window. I remember when I was in that AJ space and that fucking lady came up, that Incendiary lady. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh, and I'm sitting in the DM with AJ, and I'm like, why won't you let me come up? And it was the fakest fucking presentation I'd ever heard. Like the way it was being, it was like, it's like these people get on this weird power trip, like their fucking spaces are some sort of like radio show or something, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, and you, like I'm producing this show and I have to like control it all and it's just manipulative and everything. It's so dumb. Sorry. I'm sitting in the fucking space and they're just talking about me and I'm just like, this is crazy. And I'm like, bro, AJ, come on, man, get me up there. Like, this is not fair. These people are, oh, he's in my fucking DMs talking trash about fucking Charlie and everything. And he's like, tell your friends to fucking do this and do that and do everything. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. Tell people to report this. Tell people, like, because it affected his reputation. I was like, man, this place is a fucking, this is absolute bullshit. All of it. I tried to have one fucking space that was real. You know, the best parts is, I know just Dale and Joe's probably not there, about like people like Peg, right? Is that nobody fucking cares. Like, it's literally me just watering her right now. Like, Peg doesn't matter in the conversation. Peg doesn't matter to the community outside of just being a human being who matters. As much as I think she's disgusting on social media, she matters as a person. But like, her opinions, her tweets, her anything about Dave or anything about Dale or anything doesn't fucking matter. It's just cruel behavior because we're sick. And that lady, you can't tell, but she could go out and go for a jog if she wanted. You know, that's the reality of it. Is it like right now, like I'm just having fun. I was just like, let's get Peg in here. Let's troll her a little bit. Like, who cares?
Right, come on in. Yeah, it's you know, wow. She could work. That's absolutely correct. She can work. She can jog. She can get up and do the dishes. She can do the laundry. She can do a whole bunch of things, you know. And here I am trying to just get into my Snickers bar, and I can't.
Well, that's
So,
the thing, Dale.
and,
That's the thing, dude. That kind of stuff used to matter, bro.
right.
It used to matter.
But and like you said, it's just nobody pays attention anymore because they're tired of her screaming wolf, and that's what she's doing now. And because every time she's like, "Oh, help, help, they're attacking me. Look, they're attacking me." Nobody does. There's just it's only OQ and Taylor, you know. It's just and or Cindy's alt, you know. It's nobody pays attention. And if you look at any of theirs, and when they do that, you'll notice nobody's really looking at their account at all. And then you look at the other stuff that they put out, and it's a higher number. So everybody in the community is really, really tired of this. And we're all exhausted and we're sick, but we're sick and tired. And this is just old. And so that game is no longer working. And so a lot of people have seen through OQ and have seen through PEG and you know, by a lot of people just stepping up and walking through the whole situation with them. There's been a couple people in the community who've done that. And all they've done is not proven themselves because they don't have the facts. They don't have the so-called receipts. They don't, you know, because everything is very dramatized and overreacted and overreactionary, you know, to make this dramatic point. And it's just not there. And when people look at it, they're like, I don't see that. And so everybody's just tired of that.
Was Twitter anyway. Like their stuff, all it is Twitter. It's like what we talk about is a real situation. It's a real situation. Going through these things. Say a little fun at happy hour. That's just Twitter, right? The conflict that they drove has had real impacts. But like their shit, they're just It's like nothing. It's nothing. Anyway, whatever. I mean, I have a little bit of fun before I go, right? So that's fair. That's okay, right? A little bit. I mean, just seeing these
Absolutely.
people's accounts. I see their accounts, Dale. They've been doing this for like a year and a half now. Like it's, you know, or at least a year, about a year, and I think I've earned my place to be, well, I don't care, but I've earned my place to be able to say how I feel about all of it. Like,
You certainly have. You certainly have. I mean, a lot of these people, they weren't first waivers. They weren't 2020s, and you know, it is because that was a very dark time. It was a very, very dark time, and we didn't have answers. And we went on for like a year and a half, and then Spaces opened up, and Twitter opened up, and then we were able to communicate. And okay, I got this doctor, and this is what this doctor said, and that helped hundreds of people. Not just that one patient, it helped hundreds who were listening into the room, and we all made our treatment options based on what we're hearing in the room because it helped this one person or it helped this other person or it helped this whole group of people. And the patients and our peers had the answers before our doctors did. So this is very vital. But those first years, they were so dark and lonely and filled with so much suicide. Let's call it what it is. There was so much suicide in the beginning of this. And there wasn't the peer support. There wasn't someone who walked us quickly through it. This is what you need. We suffered for a long time. And unfortunately, there's people who are suffering like for 4 years and realize, oh, I have long COVID. And then now they're walking into this and it's kind of a mess. And they have to discern their way out in and out. But they're getting the information at a lightning speed. And this is why it's so important for us to be communicating. This is why we need these big groups. And splitting that up just really harms us. It harms our treatments. And these are life-saving treatments. They really are. I mean, I never thought my supplements would be life-saving, but they are. This is the first time in my life that my supplements matter and help me keep me upright. And I learned it in the Spaces. I learned it in your space, Dave. And so to go around and chop people's knees off because they want to be it, they want to be in the it chair, it's just so wrong. You know what? There needs to be more groups, and it's okay to have groups. It's and branch out, but don't kill the groups that we already have. Go ahead.
I don't think it's ever gonna happen on Twitter. Like, I really don't. I think that the golden age happened and Camelot is lost. And I mean,
100%. I agree with you.
I
Yes.
don't think. I will say that the ladies that run the long COVID brunch, Kath and Deb and all them, they are doing a really good job of holding it up. You know what I mean? Like keeping the conversation in this format.
Absolutely.
On
And same
Twitter
with
going,
Becky
right?
at nighttime. So I applaud the woman. I
Yeah.
applaud the women with long COVID that are in this community because they're leading the way. Not by being these big dramatic things of seeking applause. They're doing it just by leading the way and doing the work that needs to be done, whether it's hosting spaces or putting up websites or reaching out or putting the information out there. They're not looking for a pat on the back and glory. Hell no. They want a fucking cure. They want out of this too. And they're providing so much. And they're the ones being attacked. And that's what fucking pisses me off. These are the women who are
Yeah,
doing the actual
they're getting
fucking work.
attacked
Go
too.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they get attacked by people like Peg too, right?
Yes.
They get attacked
Yes.
by that,
Yes.
right? It's never ending. As soon as people start to build something, anything at all, there's people on social media that'll be like, oh, this is connected to that person, this person, and they're more about that than they are the actual, like, hey, we're trying to fucking bring people together under this, okay? They're just more about it. It sucks. Like, that's why I'm just like, my hat goes off to them, you know. And I face certain challenges because of my gender and skin color, believe it or not, right? because that's where I've been attacked. I've been attacked for being a white male,
Yep.
like
Yep.
endlessly.
That's the only thing they had to go on.
In
That's
this
the
space.
only thing they had to go on and build that narrative.
Yeah, that's how they could build the misogyny and everything else, because they were calling me a misogynist when I had 75% women in my spaces and almost all my speakers were women. They were calling me a misogynist for that. So like, whatever. And then when Sue and Peg came in, they said all these women that Dave pays and they fawn over him and it's a cult. Remember? All that shit.
That was just a disgusting
Like I
narrative,
faced.
and that
Yeah,
hurt the
No,
women in our community too.
I know. Like these women aren't fucking strong, and like they'd put up with a piece of shit doing that. Like, come on, man. Come on. Anyway, the whole thing got so weird, and it's just all bullshit. Like, it's all bullshit, Dale. I'm sorry. Guys like you and me, real. People that we talk with, that we communicate, we connect. The birds of a feather flock together. And we try to get some of the folks who don't know us or have taken things, maybe we don't speak, maybe like me, like I put shit out there pretty plainly sometimes, and it can be a little too, like I'm insensitive, I guess, in some ways. But I have to get my point across, right? It doesn't mean that I don't care about people, right? So people are like, you're harming people with your thoughts. And no, I'm not. Somebody can block and never pay attention to me. I'm not forcing anybody to read my tweets. I'm not harming a single person. Nobody's doing that. You know?
Hey, I just got a special request. I don't know how long ago it was, but Brad would like you to unblock him.
Dude, I told Brad I didn't want to do it again because he's a fucking asshole to me. And he goes behind, I went into a space to try to be so cool to that guy, right? He was just wanting to play gotcha. I'm like, I don't need to do this. Like whatever. And then he goes in the fucking DMs with people because I wrote him a letter and I was just like, dude, I don't want to do this with you. I don't want this to be this way. I can't remember what I wrote down. And he just sends it off to people like, fucking look at Dave saying, they're like, get the fuck out of here. Christy's laughing because she probably fucking got it. She probably saw it. I don't want to deal with dishonest people and like disingenuous people anymore, you know? And
that's being truthful. That's being truthful and honest, and you got to stand by your standards, and you got to stand by, your integrity and what you believe. So you're being honest, and that's fair.
Dude, a year ago, I sat in a space. I let Peg yell at me for like a fucking hour and a half. She yelled at my girlfriend. Erin got on the goddamn call. And Peg screaming at Erin saying, what are you doing with this piece of shit and everything else? It was the most disgusting thing ever. And I sat and I apologized for everything. Okay? To all these people. For things I didn't even really need to apologize for at all. Nothing I really needed to apologize for. But I felt like it was the thing to do because I felt this obligation as a voice in the community to try and make it right for people. Not for me, but for people. And I was sitting there and Erin was sitting across the fucking table when I was like going off trying to do this, trying to appease all these folks that all they want is people's heads on a pike. They don't want anything but to be right. I'm telling you, man, I've tried to bridge the gap. And Erin was crying. She was crying because it was just pure 100% trying to do the right thing and being an honest guy. I had a moment where I was just trying to explain who I was as if I had to, as if I owed it to these fucking people. And still to this day, I regret it. I regret it more than anything that I ever did was apologize in that space. Because Sita is a bitch, and I meant it when I said it. And Peg Aloy did not deserve my olive branch. Okay? It's been a year. I can say this confidently now. And I regret it because I didn't do it. I wasn't being genuine for me. I did it to try to make things better for people who don't give a fuck about me at all. And it was a mistake, you know? But I did it. Brad has done so much fucking damage. He's caused so many problems and fueled so many fucking conflicts and played the game because he hates me for whatever goddamn reason. I don't know. He used to be jealous about my GoFundMe or something. But he's never gotten up and apologized for a fucking single thing he's ever done to anybody for anything. And I'm not going to play with people like that. Homie, don't play that, man. Peg had every opportunity in the world. She still does. She's not blocked to come into this space and have a rational conversation. And she chose not to. She chose not to. She wanted to come in to try and be like Dave's gonna try to make me look crazy, so I'm gonna remain really, really calm. But she didn't. And then she fucking fired off a bunch of insults at me and then said that I was interrupting her and left. You can't work with these people. I'm done, bro.
Yeah. I've watched, I'm not going to say who, but over the last year, I watched some really, really good people extend an olive branch to Peg and try to talk it out. And the closer they got, then she'd flip around and to say, "Oh, you're just fucking with me. You're just being an asshole. You're just trying to do this and that and that and this." And she'll turn on them and just talk smack shit to them. And these people were very genuine on walking this through and talking this through. So she has she has no plan of sitting down and talking, no plan of resolution, no plan of anything. She just wants to come in here and lift up her lift up her sleeves and start swinging away and just verbally abuse people, and that's just not
It's so that
okay.
people want to look like heroes to whatever crowd they are, right? We have a shared common enemy, right? I'm gonna fucking go give them a what's what, and everybody's gonna cheer me on. And it's like, this is stupid. Like, this is really a stupid game. These are like, we're real patients. This is a real problem, and our conversations have been eroded by all of this kind of crap. And as far as I'm concerned, they're done, with the exception of what happens in the brunch space. But if you don't think they are, I mean, they aren't what they used to be. What's up, Squire?
What's up? Yo, that bitch cray. We're gonna say bitch, we're gonna say cray because sometimes those words are warranted. And in this case, that bitch cray. Well, and Cray, she's obsessed with you, man. She's like, gotta have a big fucking crush on you. All day, every day, deep. She comment every space you have. All day, hours on end, dude.
I know.
It's scary. It's creepy.
Why do you think I'm leaving, girl? I've had enough. Erin she's terrified now. She overheard the conversation when we were discussing. I was discussing with friends on a Signal or a Discord call. And I was like, so Sean Burke never came into my space. And they're like, nah. And I said, I saw he left the platform. And I was like, I wonder what happened. And they go, oh, you didn't see this part or that part? I go, no. Because I don't obsess and do that shit anymore. Like, I'm working on my YouTube stuff. I'm functional in my house. I'm trying to keep up with Erin and keep the house clean and do little chores and push myself. I ain't spending all that time on Twitter, man. It's just not where I'm at. Anyhow, they said, oh, yeah, this happened. And he was fishing for an address. And I go, that's weird because somebody donated to my Ko-Fi. I just didn't even realize an anonymous person donated to my Ko-Fi or gave me $5 or whatever. And I sent a thank you. And it didn't even occur to me that Ko-Fi is not even posted. Like, I didn't even remember that I had it. Okay. And so then I go, I better check and make sure that wasn't him. I went in there and it was like, it's him. And I was like, this is creepy, dude. And Erin overheard the conversation we were all having and she freaked the fuck out. You know?
This shit is like so far beyond normal.
Yeah. So now my friends are like, I got friends and they're like, dude, it sucks you're like deleting your whole timeline and fucking this and that because, you had a record of all this stuff and everything. And I did. It had almost 50,000 tweets at one point, like favored from my message. Like I've never fucking grifted or lied or tried to like whatever, man. It was all there. And it's not like I'm happy about doing stuff like that, but I'm just like, I can't be here anymore. Like, I can't be here anymore. Like, I got a cocked and loaded gun in my house, like, waiting. I can't do this anymore. I gotta get the fuck away. You can't be, in real life, dude, if somebody's as you put it, a cray bitch, or that bitch is cray, whatever, like, you do what you can to stay away from that stuff.
And you've done all the things to stay away. Like, you ignore them, they don't go away. You block them, they don't go away. In the shadows, they lurk. What's they do now?
Always.
Where's
Always. They were quiet. They were kind of quiet on my end of things, like, until we started hosting some spaces again. And they weren't even bad spaces. It wasn't like now I'm just trolling. I'm just having a good time. Like, hey, yeah, you're a fucking queen of the pigs, lady. Like, whatever. But like, we were hosting some more serious spaces about long COVID and just making it about that. And all of a sudden they just came out of the woodwork. It's like, what do you do? Like, you're healthy and shit. Like, you can go out and do stuff. Like, you're just waiting online until some sick people have a Twitter space and then you have a bitch session about it. Damn, man.
Well, first, they see you trolling, they hating, patrolling.
Picture me trolling.
You're the only one that consistently laughs at my dumb song improv.
You know what I was going to tell you the other day on a call? I was going to tell you that I think you should try stand-up comedy. But then I was like, I shouldn't say that because I know your situation. So,
Dude, I was just thinking the other day, I used to get that on the fucking regular in fucking real life before, like,
because you're hilarious, dude.
You should have seen
You're
me
hilarious.
when I had, like, my brain, my neurons connected. That was some crazy shit.
I know, man. I know. I was awesome. God, I was awesome. I didn't even, I mean, I knew I was awesome, but I didn't realize. Now I'm looking back. Holy shit.
Maybe if all of us, like, damaged, partially residually awesome people combine and put, like, our hands together, like Captain Planet, I don't know, it'll go somewhere. Something will happen. Actually, the world will probably just, like, explode on the spot. I don't know.
It was rings. There's something else too, like the people I've been attracted to on this platform, as far as, forming my friend circles and stuff, and that have gravitated to me, are all the kinds of people that will not go quietly into the night. They're those kind of people. They're the kind of people who, like, in life before they got stricken down, were doing things. I mean, not that everybody isn't doing things, but I mean, I don't know. It's like a personality type or something,
Cool ass motherfuckers.
Cool ass motherfuckers. Got to do it in the J. You ever watch Trailer Park Boys?
I only saw, like, one episode.
Oh, dude. Okay, you need to watch like the first 5 episodes of it and give it a chance. And if you don't like it after 5 episodes, never ever try it again. But you might like it. Anyway, there's a character called J-Rock in that, and he's a total, like, white dude who's like trying to be black. You know what I mean? He's saying all the words. It's like an over. Like the whole point is to be silly and ridiculous. Anyway, that's what I was like, you got to say all that in that J-Rock voice, but you haven't seen the show, so.
Sorry, I got interrupted and missed, like, half of what you said. I'm sorry. Something Trailer Park Boys.
Don't worry about it. It's not important.
Voices.
It's not important.
It's the most important thing in my life right now.
It wasn't a moment ago. It wasn't a moment ago when you.
But now it is. I've been reborn and I have a new purpose. Let me have it, Dave. Stop trying to steal meaning from my meaningless life.
Hey, can I interrupt with a very important message from one of Sue's alts?
Just kidding, Dale. Sorry.
What are they doing?
Well, they used to be pea sticks, and they had on their little picture they had like fried chicken legs, and so it's evolved over the time, and now it's Derek sticks.
Oh, it's Derek Sticks. Yeah. That's is it Peg or Stu? I can't remember. Or is it? It's either Peg, Stu, or the
right.
horse
My
I don't know
my bet is it's Sue, and so but Derek now it's Derek Stick, and he's just really been working on his his profile. But an hour ago he asked Grok, here I'll just read it. Grok, the community has mixed feelings about D-Bone, with some like N. James thanking him for advocacy others, while others like Kill Streaks labeled them as a creepy ass bigot.
I love it. Yeah, depending on what tweets are left and what's been going on recently, the grok will change. It goes like 20 or 30 sort of events down.
Just
That's great. That's great.
they've been working on that profile for a while to be normal, and so but
Oh, totally. Yeah, they do that to
Yep.
legitimize. They'll do it to legitimize an account. I know. It's weird, dude. It's weird to have like 7 or 8 people that are just making alt accounts all the time, like all the fucking time. It's weird. It's fucking weird. Like I've made some alt accounts, but I usually am pretty open about what my alt accounts are. Like my other alt account right now is D Dave. So it's not. It's D Dave, and yeah. Anyway, whatever. There's no point in the alts anymore because it doesn't matter. You can see everything people are posting and screenshot and be creepy or whatever the fuck people do. Whatever.
Well, according to Bon Cray Cray, who's out there listening, hey girl, I'm fucking everyone everywhere all at once.
Squire, Foamy Trash Panda, are you like you're like quantum Trash Panda?
Yeah.
Nice.
I've got like 9 raccoon tails and I can like spin them in a circle and levitate.
Yeah, these clowns, man. Oh. I don't know what the T minus is for this account, for this engagement. I might keep the account and I haven't decided if I want to rebrand it completely and just not engage with this shit anymore and I'll probably just drop everything and drop my followers. Or if I just want to like leave it up and just be like, here lies the barbarian. Some
Dave's
bullshit.
deleting tweets now. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Sorry. You got me.
Like it's hot. It doesn't matter. Most of the people that engaged with this account early on are like no longer engaging. There was that explosive period in the beginning when it was the FBLC days and everybody was following accounts. And the reason why I got followed is because I actually had touched a lot of people's lives. Like I connected with a lot of people in the first 2 years. And so I picked up a lot of followers because of who I was. Not for any other reason. My tweets were crap. It was just some goofy haikus and an occasional attack on Vinay Prasad. Until that little bitch blocked me.
What do you think about Vinay Prasad, by the way? What are your...
He's a bitch. Are you Vinny? Are you Vinay?
I don't know what that means. I mean, I've seen some of his like YouTube videos criticizing the long COVID research, which I thought were cherry picked and whatnot, but that's about the extent that I've engaged with him.
Yeah, he's a social media guy. I mean, he's playing on the audience. There's a bunch of intersecting issues, right? And so long COVID is attached and adjacent to those. So he's been really harmful with his messaging on Twitter as far as creating, more misinformation for the public to consume. But he blocked me really quick. Like, he would go back and forth with people, but he never wanted to deal with me. In fact, that whole like crew of those guys, I don't want to call myself too formidable, but like I can make a strong argument. And he blocked me. Like, I think he was just being strategic. He didn't want to fuck with me. And that was a time when there was a lot more unity. So Twitter, he's trying to build his brand on Twitter, and he could have bumped into more resistance. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like, he doesn't need any followers on the other side because he's just speaking into an echo chamber. So
Right.
I think
I still,
put me in a cage with that guy.
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I still find it so bizarre that something like a chronic illness can be so politicized. Like, there's something about my psychology that just doesn't compute that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not as chronically online as many people, and I just really go on here for occasional spaces. But there's like, I just don't. I don't have a full model in my head of what exactly is going on there politically.
Well, long COVID's an extension of the pandemic, and the pandemic was highly politicized. So you have that to consider first. Second, there's been a conflation effort by MECFS organizations, and those organizations on social media have attached themselves to adjacent issues that are highly politicized. So the conflation of long COVID with MECFS and the attachment of other social issues through the abuse of um, disability justice has caused this to become a very, very politically siloed sphere of conversation.
I see. I mean, it's interesting though that like the connection between MECFS and long COVID. I don't think that we should conflate those as like, a primary diagnosis, right? I think that the thing that reasonable people emphasize is that they certainly share characteristics in common, but ultimately, I mean, ME is kind of an unsatisfactory diagnosis to begin with, right? It's just a syndrome. So many things can meet the criteria for ME, but be completely like disparate pathophysiologies. Forgive the
Right. That was
medical jargon, but
I think that was the no, I think that was originally how conversations started about ME and long COVID in spaces that I hosted that led people to believe that there was something nefarious going on. It was just recognizing that and looking at long COVID and saying, we have an opportunity to examine, let's say they are all the same thing. Let's just say that in some weird universe, it's all the same pathophysiology or pathogenesis or whatever. You have an opportunity now to look at this through a magnifying glass, through a microscope, and really kind of break your cohorts up and structure your research in a way that can provide answers. Where if you just took a bunch of people who had MECFS, you have a lot more variables to sift through. I mean, there's just no-brainer logic right there.
right.
But
And not to mention the historical precedent that most of the time, like primary MECFS is pretty freaking rare. Most of the time, it's post-viral syndrome, and it was well known that
yeah,
it sort of followed, as you probably know, viruses just historically. So
yeah. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to make a friend with a gentleman he was in the I forget what it's called, the Lake Tahoe outbreak back in the 80s. And it led to the use of the word or the phrase chronic fatigue syndrome. It's where it was born. And he's familiarized me and others with the whole history of MECFS going back to the Royal
yeah,
Free or the Royal Free
it's
outbreak.
horrific, the history. It's I feel so bad for some of those patients, but yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Anyways, I mean, I feel like so the thing with that I've noticed is that with chronic illness, there's a lot of money It's a big industry in a lot of different ways, and there's lots of moving parts and cogs in this. And so the way things are run, the status quo means that, all of that goes unchecked. And as long as you just have more people that are involved, you can sort of present this as a bigger problem. And so your machine will just get fed more. It'll just grow bigger. And that seems all fine and dandy at the surface, because you're like, okay, so we're eventually going to get solutions that way. But no, the system has failed up. So feeding it more money will not accomplish the goal. And so I saw that right away. And I think if you challenge that question, why is advocacy only accomplishing this? Why are they taking in this much, only doing that? Why have we not had any results? Why is this research disconnected? There's this all those moving parts to I think that I've dealt with some. I don't think it was for all these and to have all these perspectives, because there's quite a bit of culture that is part of this chronic illness scene, just the conversation, all of it. And culture is an interesting thing, right? That manifests itself or emerges when you get enough people together. And the way that the culture has worked for so long, it's been able to sort of support some of the myths that are perpetuated, some of the myths that people use. What is myth? What's a myth? It's a story that somebody uses to make sense of the world around them or to make sense of something. And what I found is that there are lots of myths that are kind of just permeate the chronic illness culture. And there's reasons why they exist, and they aren't necessarily born from like nefarious intentions, but they aren't helpful in the long term when it comes to honest conversations about the diseases or finding solutions to them.
Right. What is your analysis of what are some of the most prominent myths in this space?
Okay, so when I first with ME/CFS in particular, when I first got sick, the narrative was that if you had ME/CFS, you could not get better.
Right, you're doomed. You're absolutely doomed.
And that if somebody else, yeah. So that's one example. Another example is that any exercise, any movement or whatever is going to lead to PEM, and that's going to kill you. And that's going to land you in bed for the rest of your life. So these kinds of things require a lot more nuance than what you see expressed in like conversations and social media.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that
going back to what you.
Sorry. Please continue.
I was just going to say, going back to what you said earlier about sort of this, I call it a disease bucket, but it's sort of this possibly this heterogeneous mix of different pathophysiologies.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to understand that core distinction.
Right. So please, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, like, you seem to be somebody who understands the difference between how a condition is defined, like diagnostic criteria, right? There are many conditions in the body which can lead to the kind of trifecta that is fatigue and post-exertional malaise, and these symptoms that are common across these chronic illnesses, fibromyalgia, ME, long COVID, etc. But that's just a phenotype, right? It's just a set of criteria that can be met symptomatically. But there's a huge distinction between that and what gives rise to it. So as soon as you understand that, there are different prescriptions for different pathophysiologies, and of course we can't just say, if you have long COVID, for instance, like you have ME, and therefore exercise isn't gonna help you because it will cause post-exertional malaise. So yeah, I agree with you.
And long COVID itself is a bucket, right? So, and this is where the conversation gets even muddier, because some would say, well, why is one bucket better than the other bucket? And how could you say this just means they must be the same thing, or this is just another reason to say they're the same thing? And I say, no, it's one of the most important things, at least this is my opinion, and the opinion of some of my friends who obviously think like me, is that it's very important to keep COVID connected to the syndrome or the set of syndromes. It's very, very important to do that, And so for me, what I saw was that this narrative to conflate, which I have my theories on why it was done and whose interests it served, uh, it ultimately disconnected COVID from long COVID, and it took.
I know
It
exactly what you're
helped to,
saying. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
yeah, and it helped to steer the public away from urgent, like, I don't know, appeal. Like it's not going to be their problem,
Right, yeah, because we already have this, like, I know exactly what you mean. If I were to summarize it, you can tell me if this is accurate. But we sort of have this category in medicine of a post-viral fatigue syndrome, right? And that typically takes the form of ME. And if you have this pre-existing category that can only be managed and not cured, well, then all of a sudden you have a very convenient way to sort of, like section all these people into that category and just say that, yeah, this is chronic and can only be managed.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened, is you got all these people who showed up with long COVID. I mean, these circles, this culture had at least not in some recent time, and in the current state of our technology, social media and everything, ever had an injection of so many fresh eyes and ears, and that represents a fine cross section of society, right? I mean, you have everything from homeless people to everyone from homeless people to researchers and doctors that are stricken with this disease. So you have a lot of different perspectives and angles that people come from, and you basically, the system, the machine that I spoke about earlier, it wasn't set up to deal with that. And so people are naturally going to ask questions. They're naturally going to say, hey, wait a second, right? And so I think that the system was met with some challenges. And for me to observe this, to watch it happen, because I participated in challenging it, and to see how it fired back at patients, has been one of the most just frustrating and disappointing and eye-opening experiences of my life. I would never have thought in a million years that people who advocate for chronic disease would try, that there was this Game of Thrones being played for, to get your hands on money or whatever, and that you would try to stomp out other advocacy, and that, it was so politicized. This is how we got the conversation going, that you siloed your conversation in order to appeal to one specific base on social media, and thereby sort of clouding the reality of the issue to the general public. There's just, it's been incredible to watch, and I'm brain damaged from this. I mean, I have my neuropsych and neurocognitive examinations, everything's there. Like, I'm fully disabled, and physically and cognitively, and I'm doing better now than I ever was, for the most part, in my
Yeah, I was
head.
going to ask, just on a personal note, I'm sort of new to exploring these spaces. So what's been your personal experience with this and everything like that?
I mean, I could show you a picture that's worth 1,000 words. I'm not going to put it back on social media, but so I was hospitalized with COVID back in 2020 in March, so very beginning.
Yeah, you were
And
stricken with the earlier wave, which I know has been pretty brutal for
yeah,
some people.
yeah, so horrific infection, not ventilated, just cannula, and I don't even know if the cannula was necessary. I think it was in the very one point, but I was hospitalized after being hypoxic, so I collapsed due to hypoxia and a either a vasovagal response or some kind of blood pressure issue that probably was the beginning of my autonomic. That was at day 8, and then I stayed overnight. I got out, I never got out of bed, and I deteriorated for another 3 weeks. I was re-hospitalized in very, very bad shape. And then I spent 11 days in the hospital. I got out, and I was a fraction of a person. I was wheelchaired out. Okay, and I never slowly I have all symptoms. So for 15 minutes, and then I started having issues. I don't have common sense. Somebody might illustrate it on social media and kind of create that picture in their head, but I can't exert. But I also have a lot of other problems. Like I'm going blind in my left eye now. I have neuropathy. Um, God, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, I have all the stuff. I had the platinum package of this. You know,
Well, first
heart
of all, let me
arrhythmia.
say I'm sorry that you've had such an experience. That sounds terrible, and genuinely, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's shitty too. I mean, the isolation. This is why. So this was kind of event space. Whatever. I'm ditching my social media account, but or at least what it was, because since the very beginning, I participated in patient groups in advocacy spaces or support spaces. Um, uh, so I'm really familiar with a lot of the folks who launched advocacy in the beginning. I was communicating with them back in 2020, and I started hosting I started hosting Zoom groups in my own like support group with friends, and gave us a unique perspective that people who were just in text platforms couldn't get, and built like a little community. And then I branched off and moved on to social media. I got on Twitter about 2.5 years ago, and started spaces because nobody had a space on long COVID. So we grew the space for a while, and it was kind of a thing. And then all of a sudden, social media just started doing its magic. And it was difficult for me because I was an easy target, being a white male with a strong voice. And people who had more interest in intersecting or adjacent issues were able to target me. My girlfriend was targeted with like violent sexual threats. I went through a lot in this space, and all I've ever wanted was to get out, and I thought the best we can do is get enough people loud enough together. And this is my humble little way of trying to do that. It's the only thing I was bedbound for a long time. I've been better and been able to walk a mile, a day at times, and then reinfected and crushed. And, I'm not in a great space anymore at all. But like, watching this community that we called a community for a long time, and that sense of unity dissolve and the conversations devolve, and then me personally being I mean, if you haven't followed, like I've been the center of attacks for a long time. I took it really personal, dude. I don't anymore, but I sure did, and it affected my health negatively. And yeah, I won't be messing with that again.
Well, I appreciate you condensing so much into a short period to inform me. Yeah, I mean, what was it? What was it like? I mean, just for context, for me, um, I think I have mild sort of post-COVID symptoms, but I had already been dealing with something deeper that like preceded the pandemic. But so that's sort of my background. I've been more involved with an even more controversial topic, which is kind of why I'm interested in medical controversy and the politicization of this stuff. But I was involved in kind of like the chronic line sort of sphere. That was the best framework to make sense of what happened to me. And that's even that's like it's interesting to understand what happened with long COVID through that lens. But
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we talk about Lyme a lot in terms of, um, arguing back and forth over the whole conflation of disease. When you look at Lyme, you could have easily just called Lyme MECFS and walked away from it. But understanding the trigger has provided some types of treatment for this, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that there are some,
Yeah,
there's some things they can do for patients with Lyme.
it's incredibly complex in the space of chronic. They call them vector-borne illnesses, but I mean, there's a lot of potential for predatory behavior because it's thought that. So the basic. I mean, I don't know how much detail you would want me to go into this, and just cut me off if it's not interesting or relevant. But I mean, the basic controversy was that doxycycline was the initial antibiotic formulated for, against the spirochete that is Lyme, right? And in a test tube and in vitro, it can completely eliminate Lyme bacteria. So we sort of thought, yeah, if you take a 2-week course of doxycycline, you can't possibly have chronic symptoms because you've eliminated the pathogen, right? So then they retermed it. It was like post-treatment Lyme syndrome, something like that. Then a whole body of literature is formed suggesting that these spirochetes are much more intelligent, that they can hide in tissues, sort of exactly like what happens with viral persistence and long COVID. So it's thought that longer courses of antibiotics are warranted. But oftentimes, people do these longer courses of various antibiotics, don't get better, and their sort of body is wrecked in other ways. And some people get better through a variety of different treatment modalities. But yeah, I mean, the courses of antibiotics tend to be pretty expensive, and there are a lot of not covered by insurance physicians who give out really long courses of antibiotics. Like I'm talking like years of heavy, sometimes intravenous antibiotics. So yeah, there's a lot of exploitation in that space too. Uh, I've been able to manage mine through various lifestyle interventions and over time uh, playing with different modalities. Unfortunately, I haven't had to do any long courses of antibiotics, but yeah. Sorry, I think I'm not hearing you at the moment. I don't know if it's my internet. Yes, I can hear you now. Here, I'll leave and come back because it's going on and off for me.
Hey, Scott. Hi, this is No Trend. I was interesting what you were saying about the antibiotics. So I'm positive EBV. I don't know if you know anything about that, or just any reactivation in general.